Hey there, YouTube. Zach Butler YGO back with another Exodia deck. This time, though, I'm going to be doing a combo version. This is based very heavily off the video that Jesse Kotton did recently, which was really cool, and I liked that deck a lot. So I built the deck to the best of my ability, changed a few cards here and there to my liking, and I wanted to show you what I've been playing at locals for the last couple weeks and having pretty solid success with. I think I've gone either undefeated or X1 basically every time since I got a second engraver, because you do unfortunately need the Fiend Smith engine for this, but it is a lot of fun. If you guys want to see some basic combos with this deck and some of the cool stuff you can do, let's go ahead and get this to 25 likes. We're really trying to, continue climbing up that 1,400 number there. We're trying to get to 15 pretty soon, so let's just jump right into it. We're going to start off with the monsters as always, and first you have your 5 Exodia pieces. Nothing new here. These are the 5 garnets you need to play in the deck, of course, but it's worth it to get to play Exodia. It's one of the coolest things I've gotten to do in a long time. Then from there, you have your Millennium engine of 3 Sengengen. If you're unfamiliar with the Millennium cards, I highly encourage you to watch either my previous Millennium video or my text to consider for the WCQ video, or if you don't really want to watch a video on the basics of the engine, go ahead and check out the article I posted on Infinite TCG Player about the Millennium engine, actually about how good these cards are. Lots of resources there. So you've got 3 Sengengen, searches monsters, 3 shield, searches Ankh, 3 golem, which searches the Wedju Temple, and then 1 moon and 1 reflection. These cards are just crazy, honestly, and even the little ones really overperformed. The little ones have managed to win me a ton of games I wouldn't have otherwise won, and Reflection itself even won me a match in time that I would not have been able to win if not for it. Then I am playing the Crystal Beast engine in here. This was the coolest thing I think Jesse did with the deck, was he showcased the power of the Crystal Beast cards, which now I am obsessed with. 1 Sapphire Pegasus gets you through every single bit of your engine that you need to get through, assuming you drew 4 dead cards. If a Sapphire Pegasus goes uninterrupted, can do everything on its own, which is really cool. I really like this engine a lot, and it's a really good normal summon engine because the deck doesn't need its normal summon at all, so that's something to consider. And then, like I said, I am playing the Fiend Smith engine. I only have 2 engravers, otherwise there'd be a 3rd one, and then, of course, your Lurie. These cards are really cool and offer the deck a lot of unique abilities to play that it otherwise wouldn't really have. It surprisingly synergizes really well. Just, free bodies with a deck that already likes to do free bodies is pretty cool. And then one change that I made, because of the lack of the 3rd engraver, was I ended up playing the Magician's Souls package, which I think is really cool in this deck. So the cool thing about this is that the Magician's Soul synergizes really well with the Millennium cards, because let's say they Ash Blossom one of your Millennium monsters that's in the spell trap zone. When you activate its effect, it's now stuck there. Well, you can just send it from Magician's Souls to draw a card. You also play a ton of board breakers that aren't necessarily the greatest going first, obviously, so you can always send those from Magician's Souls. But you also have additional redundant copies of Ankh and Temple sometimes that you want to be able to send and just get more free cards. And sometimes you just need that extra free body, and Magician's Souls fills that role really well. And it's just 1/1. If I wasn't playing Prosperity, I'd probably play more of these. So if you're going to play a deck like this for the World Championship Celebration, for example, you could just play more Souls and Illusions, which would be really cool. For the spells, we'll go over the board breakers first. There's 3 Triple Tactics Talent. It is the best board breaker. I've talked about this at length. I think it's probably the best spell in the game right now, honestly. 3 Pot of Prosperity for consistency. 3 Dark Ruler No More. Again, another crazy board breaker. And then 3 Forbidden Droplet on top of that. Then we have the 2 Lightning Storms and the Harpy's Feather Duster. And I'll get the Call by the Grave out of the way now. So that's all your breakers right there. And then Call by the Grave. So you can see that this deck really doesn't mind going second. You can just, most of the time you'll sit there watching them do their combo plays, and you're fine with that. It's totally fine just to hang back and watch the play. You don't want to interact. My theory on playing a breaker deck is that if you would need to have consistently 2 or more hand traps to be able to stop them, and mathematically that just doesn't seem reasonable to you because of the ratios in your deck and deck count and things like that, then you should just do breakers. Because you really only need 1, maybe 2 breakers to stop them, as opposed to needing at least 2 hand traps. For example, Dark Ruler or Droplet can take care of their entire field, whereas with hand traps you'd have to have 2. And then you have Talons, which is good going first and second. Prosperity, which gets you to all these breakers. Lightning Storm and Duster, which are insane in the main deck because you shouldn't be playing around them if you're playing a back row deck, and most monsters are going to be summoned in attack position because of links, so it just really benefits you to play a lot of breakers. Then for the rest of the spells, I played 2 Tract to make up for the lack of the 3rd Engraver. The 2nd Tract is pretty great, actually. It comes up a decent amount where sometimes the game just starts to grind, and having that 2nd copy is nice. 2 Foolish Burial Goods. That sends your Angel of Blue Tears or your Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, which is pretty crazy. I'll just go ahead and stick those together. Rainbow Bridge obviously is incredible in a deck like this where you can get to all of your engine just by having it. So that is that part of the spell and trap lineup. And then for the rest of the spells and traps, you have 1 Terraforming to go with your 3 Wedju Temple. Temple is just a crazy card. It turns bricks, like literal brick cards, like if you draw dead hand traps that you're siding, or dead board breaker if you're playing like Lava Golem, or you can even turn Rainbow Dragon into an actual useful card for you by putting it in Spell Trap Zone and then letting you use that to get access to your Millennium cards. And then if you drew Souls, you can send the Rainbow Dragon and the Wet Temple. It's a whole bunch of cool stuff. 3 Millennium Ankh. This is your fusion spell. It's interesting because you don't really need to max out on it in theory, but drawing it is better than searching it, obviously, in the case of like your life point retention. So that's why you max out on it. And then 1 Obliterate Blaze and 1 Exod Fires of Rage. So you've got turning Exodia into Heavy Storm and with Piercing, and then Raigeki Harpy's Feather Duster put together, which is when people ask me how to explain the card, I literally just say it's Raigeki Harpy's Feather Duster put together for some reason. And then for the rest of the cards, these 2 go with the Angels, or the Blue Tears, Angel of Blue Tears spell to combo with your Lacrima. Different Dimension Ground and Blackout Laughs cover most of your bases. Blind, I've been going Blackout Laughs more, just because I want to have that coverage against like Tenpai and other decks that don't necessarily lose to Different Dimension Ground. But if you know you're going to be playing against Snake Eyes, you obviously go Different Dimension Ground or Yubel. And then Angel Statue, Azaroon. I also tried still a Hat Trick. Hat Trick was cool. The issue with Hat Trick is that it starts a new chain to negate face-up cards, and that I found to be too slow. So I think we're going to stick with Angel Statue, but that was something that was really cool. For your extra deck, you've got the 2 Exodia Fusions. Of course, the second one rarely comes up. The third one has never come up, so that's why you only ever see it at 2 in the deck. In maybe like the stun version, you might need 3, but I never really found that I've needed a third one. I barely need the second one. It's usually Prosperity away. And then Desiree. This is what you go into if your Exodia wouldn't be useful or you've run out. It just becomes like a Fiendsmith control deck, which is really cool. I play Necroquip Princess. This is specifically because I wanted to be able to make it so that way if I only opened up with the ability to get to Engraver, and like that was it basically, you can theoretically, or if I can only get to the 1 Engraver, and I can't get to the rest of the engine, I can at least go into this and turn my 1 Engraver into a Beatrice, which came up a couple times. 1 Lacrima, of course, and then Dagaris and Beatrice. These are the only Xyz I play because I haven't quite figured out what I want to cut for other ones yet. I was considering Baguska, maybe even Gaga Cowboy for time, although you already have a decent amount of time win conditions. In theory, Daigusta Emerald wouldn't be the worst thing. It would also get you additional draws because you do burn through a lot of monsters on turn 0. But you know, there's also just room. You could continue to do more link summons, which is what I think this deck is better at. And then there's the Fiendsmith Requiem, Sequence, Moon of Closed Heaven, one Haggard Lizardos. This card is pretty cool. It's just a free draw, but again, if you're gonna play this deck at the World Championship celebration, you can't use Haggard Lizardos because you're playing under the Forbidden and Limited List of Worlds, and this is a World Premiere card, so that would be coming out, which is fine because there's plenty of other great cards to play. SP Little Knight, Nightmare Phoenix, Silhouette Rabbit, and then Axis Go Talker. So I have been playing this deck pretty extensively, and I have used this exact same extra deck quite a bit. The only card in here that I have yet to summon more than once is Desiree. Every other card has come up a ton of times, so frequency of summon for these cards is not an issue. It is just a matter of their impact. So that is something to be aware of as well. Plenty of options though, because you could even play if you're playing in the TCG, you could play Aerial Eater, which would be another cool fusion to play, and you can send more Fiend cards and stuff like that, which is really cool. For the side deck, I'm playing 3 Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. This card is crazy in this deck because it is basically an engine card. Thanks to how the Exodia mechanic works, it gains attack equal to your life points, while Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood giving you more life points means it gains more attack, so it's pretty cool. 3 Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. I'd be playing Mulch Army over Ghost Sister if I had Mulch Army, but yeah. And I'd be pairing it with the Phantasmes, just to see as much of your deck as you can, because you are playing 60, so you want to see as deep as you can. So the idea being between Phantasme, Mulch Army, Talents, if you need to draw 2, and then even theoretically, obviously you can't pair it on the same turn as you draw 2 Talents, but Prosperity, you'll see so much of your deck that you can get to your consistency cards. But Phantasme is really solid, obviously going second into any Fiendsmith deck. And then I sided, this is something I tried last night for locals, and it was really solid, was I sided 1 copy each of Necro Valley, Magic Deflector, and Dimensional Barrier. Now, the idea being that Necro Valley is a searchable field spell through the Crystal Beast combo, because I can get you to Rainbow Bridge, or Terraforming, which is obviously really easy to get to, or even just Beatrice getting you to the Crystal Beast cards through Rainbow Bridge. So the one of Necro Valley is actually highly searchable in 60 cards, and against I played against the Chimera Illusion deck that really exceeded my expectations. Against Snake Eyes, it's obviously good. Against Yubel, it's incredible. I think it's just a solid one-of card that, if you are playing a field spell-oriented deck, is worth considering. Magic Deflector is primarily for the White Forest Runic deck, or just any Runic deck in general. It's also solid against Snake Eyes, because their continuous spells can't be useful, and it's solid into Yubel because you turn off their field spells and their continuous spells. It's just a really solid card overall right now, and the reason why it's a one-of is because it is searchable off of Angel of Blue Tears until that card is no longer legal. And the reason why there's 1 and 1 barrier is because, same thing, barrier searchable as a one-of, so there's no reason to play more than 1. Then there's 3 evenly matched. I generally do not like this card. I have gone on record talking about how much I think this card is awful. Right now, though, you need to have these mass board breakers, and Evenly does a pretty solid job of that. And then you can just set up an unbreakable Exodia field, and then they're just out of resources. And then I'm citing 3 Destructive Daruma Karma Cannon. This is for Tenpai primarily. I wanted to have as many cards for Tenpai as I could, just because I think you need to see multiple. So I figured between the Magic Deflector, which is really good against Tenpai, Dimensional Barrier, again, really good against Tenpai, Necro Valley, really good against Tenpai, Destructive Daruma Karma Cannon, and then Black Goat Laughs, I should be able to have something when going first against that deck to be able to give myself another turn. And then if I'm going second against them, I just have all my board breakers. But that is the deck. Like I said, if you guys want to see a combo hand with that and just a basic explanation of how this deck runs, I am happy to do that. Let's just get this video to 25 likes because I like this deck a lot, and I have been enjoying playing it so very much. My poor local players have all been really annoyed because I won't stop talking about how fun the Millennium cards are. Let me know down below what you want to see, and until next time, have a great day.